Here is a beautiful sunset with a mountain in the background and a lake. And so today I'll be painting that. Start with the sky, of course. And I'll start by taking some white and putting that down in the upper left-hand corner. I always start pretty much in the upper left-hand corner and work my way down. And I lay down white first because it makes all the other colors easier to blend when I put the colors on top of it. I am painting in the Impressionist style, more or less, and that means I'm more concerned about light and color and not so much about detail, and I'm not so concerned about blending or smoothing it all out. You'll see the brush strokes all over the place, and that's why I'm just dabbing. I'm not trying to just smooth it out and be real precise with it. Okay, so now I've got some blue, and I'll put that down next. And since the white is still wet, the blue's mixing with it. It was darker coming out of the tube, but it's lighter mixing with the blue. I didn't even bother to mix it on my palette. I'm just letting it mix as I put it down. And I'm just dabbing it right in. If I want the blue darker, I just reach over and get some more blue and add it. And if I want it lighter, I don't use as much, or I add more white. Right now I'm trying to get the dark area, that dark kind of purplish, bluish color that you can see up in the sky. And I don't have it yet. Obviously, I've just got blues. There'll be a lot of other colors that get mixed with it to make it look more like what it is in the photograph. I'm trying to follow the general shape and pattern of where the clouds are in this photograph. And adding a little bit more blue, again, where I want it darker. I keep adjusting as I go along, making it darker, lighter, whatever. One way to get that nice dark bluish gray is to mix brown, blue, and white, and then you can get it in different values that way, either get it lighter or darker. And so I'm adding brown right in with the blue and the white. Nothing's dry yet, so it's mixing right on the paper. And I'm going to all the different parts where I've got the blue and where I've got the brown, and just kind of adjusting, trying to get it as dark as I want it or as light as I want it, adding more blue and brown or more white. It actually has a purplish tinge to it. We know that red and blue make purple, and so now I'm going to add some red to it as well and let it mix with other colors that are there. So now that's mixing with the white and the blue and the brown, and it's getting more of a purplish look to it, like it is in the photograph, although that's still darker than what mine is. So I'm adding a little bit more blue. I just keep kind of readjusting it until I get it the way I want it, and I try to stay, like I said, in one area so that it doesn't dry till I'm finished with that area pretty much. Okay, now I'll speed this up in iMovie, and I still am working like the different mixtures in. Got some white now, and you notice down farther in the photograph that gray is a little bit more, it's a little lighter, and so I'm using that same blue and brown that was already on my brush, but I'm adding white in there too. And I haven't actually rinsed my brush out yet this whole time because all of the colors have been meant to be mixed. Adding some blue in here. So you paint a sky like this. Basically it's put down white and then add blue when the white's still wet, add brown. Just kind of keep adding blue or brown or white depending on how you want it, if you want it darker or lighter. Now we have the orange here, and you know that yellow and red make orange, so I'll start out with yellow. When you're painting and mixing colors, it's always best to start with the lightest color. So now I'm putting red right on top of it, and for the looks of things, I probably could have done with less red, And it's going to be a lighter color of orange anyway, so I'm adding some white with it. I'm letting the white mix. And there's a little bit of a tinge of that color up in the clouds, so I'm putting that there too. So basically I've got white and yellow and not as much red, because red is a stronger color, and this is more orange. So remember, yellow and red make orange. Okay. Now these mountains are almost a silhouette, they're so dark. And so I'm going to start with blue and lay that down first. And again, I'm just dabbing with my brush. I'm not trying to paint it like I'm painting a wall or a barn or something like that. So I got my basic blue down, and now I've got brown that I'm mixing with the blue. And that's the way to get that dark color, the brown and the blue. Impressionists generally don't use black. They feel that it deadens canvas too much. And so they go with mixtures of blue and brown to get a black color, like the dark. I'm adding some light, some white in there, because I can see that there's a little bit of a lighter area, but not very light. It helps give form to the mountain. And down here too. Okay, now I have the lake, and everything is reflected in the lake, the sky and the mountain. And so, like I always do, I'm laying down white first. And I'm painting with acrylic paint, so I'm going to paint in small sections because it dries fast. If you're in school, there's a good chance you'll be painting with tempera paint, and that's water-based and it dries fast too. So I've got my base of white laid down, and I'm going to put down some blue. The mountain, remember, that was a mixture of blue and brown. And in the photograph, it almost looks like a mirror image, but I'm going to modify that somewhat in the painting because I want to really give the effect of it being water. So I'm adding the brown and the blue into the white right under the mountain, making a mirror image of that mountain pretty much. And when I'm painting water, I'm actually making my strokes more horizontal, short, but horizontal, because it gives more of an effect of the surface of the water. If I made the strokes like diagonal, it would look like the water is running off of the canvas or the paper. So I keep just working it in horizontal strokes, and a little bit more blurry than the actual thing that's reflected in it. And then over here, I've got the sunset reflected in it. So I'm going to put down yellow first. Remember, the lightest color, it's always better to use that first. And then just a little bit of the red, because red's a more powerful color. And working that in with horizontal strokes, because I'm painting on water. And letting that mix with the yellow to make that orange, to make that sunset. And then a little bit of white too, because it's actually lighter than just the red and the yellow mixed together. All right, now I'm just taking a small brush and a little bit of the white, and I'm just making little horizontal thin strokes here and there on the surface of the water. And even though that's not what there is in the photograph, I added that so that it would give more an effect of the sun glinting off the water. All right, now for this next part, and this is like really dark. If you look closely at it, it's like a dark brownish, greenish kind of a color. And so I'm actually going to start with brown, because it really does appear mostly brown unless you look at it really, really close. And again, I'm just using the same brush strokes I've been using, that, kind of impressionist brush stroke. Actually, all the different impressionists, they had their own kind of brush stroke, but it was all the rough brush strokes that you see, Van Gogh had very like big brush strokes, kind of long. And then 1A was more like what I'm doing with my brush strokes. Okay, now I'm adding some blue in there because I want the dark color, but I'm also adding some yellow in there because it's a dark brownish greenish color. It looks like it's probably a bunch of trees all clumped together that probably have brown leaves on them, or maybe they're just brown branches. Maybe they don't have leaves on them anymore. So the brown and then the blue, and here there's just different places where it looks like there might be, I don't know what you'd call it, a shadow in the photograph, and it helps me give this a little bit more form if I add the blue in there. So we got the brown, blue, and the yellow, and then I'm going to take my small brush and just a little bit of white, and because if you look closely, you can see the form of some of the trees, and the white will help get that. I'm putting it in there, but I don't have a lot of it on my brush at one time, and I'm letting it mix with the other colors, so it's not actually white when it's on there. It's just a lighter version of the other colors. So if you find a picture or have a picture that has similar color as this one does, you can use the same colors and same techniques I used in this one. So basically you don't have to just paint this picture to use these techniques.